Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of Sister Wives Season 18, Episode 13, The Elephant in the Room. Okay, this episode opens in Lehi, Utah, which is actually where the show began. The first house that they shared together, where Christine was the basement wife and Janelle lived on one side of the upstairs and Meri lived on the other. That's the house that they lived in season 1 when the show first started, when Kody was just courting Robyn. And then they fled Utah because they thought Kody was going to be arrested for being a polygamist. And, you know, it was like they packed everything up in the dead of the night. And they drove to Las Vegas, which is where they all got homes and then eventually had homes built all in a cul-de-sac, which to me was the perfect solution. And I almost wonder, well, no. I was going to say, I almost wonder if they hadn't left Vegas and their 4 homes that were all like right next to each other. I almost feel like the family would still be together, but no, that's not true. The problem is Robyn, and not even necessarily Robyn's fault, although I don't think Robyn is helping anything, in spite of the fact that she's the only one fighting. Yeah. The real problem, which is not Robyn's fault, is that Kody found the love of his life in her. He fell head over heels in love with Robyn, and that doesn't work in a plural family. And, you know, that would be a beautiful fairy tale story if he didn't have 3 other wives who he now doesn't really want to spend time with because he just wants to be with the love of his life, which, yeah, I get it. But also, you really can't be a polygamist anymore. And I think more than anything else, that's what destroyed the family. His love for Robyn. Anyway, sorry about that tangent. We're in Lehi, Utah, because that must be where Mykelti and Tony live. And Christine tells us in her confessional that they are going to have a big gender reveal. Yay! Spoiler alert, it's 2 boys, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Actually, at this point, I'm just hoping that the genders aren't revealed multiple times like the pregnancy was. This is pretty much all the families here, right? Are we going to have an episode where Mykelti reveals the gender of the babies to the cameraman? Can't wait for that one. All right, so like I said, this is being filmed this is still over a year ago. So as you might imagine, this whole family can't get together in one place. So this is going to be a reveal done over Zoom. Mykelti and Tony are like in their backyard with Christine and truly, I'm sure, I don't know if Isabelle might be there. I don't remember. No, I think Isabelle is on the Zoom. Anyway. Doesn't matter. And they've got these poppers, these giant tubes that they're going to pop. And then this either pink or blue powder comes shooting out of it. And, because it's twins, Mykelti has one and Tony has one. Now, the most notable part of this Zoom is that Robyn and Kody are part of it. So, we get to see the Zoom. We get to see what the screen looks like, and the 2 of them are in one of the little boxes. As everyone's kind of popping on, saying hi, it's a little awkward. Christine tells us in her confessional that she's wondering how this is going to go because not that she cares, doesn't bother her at all. It's just that some of the kids she knows have a little bit of friction between them and Kody and Robyn. All right, so as I said, people are starting to pop on. Janelle's son is there. Isabelle is in one of the squares. That's Christine's daughter, who is living in North Carolina with Maddie. Maddie is also on. That's Janelle's oldest daughter. And Mykelti said that Aspen and Logan are going to be late. Now, Aspen is Christine's oldest daughter. Logan is the oldest child, and he is the biological son of Janelle and Kody. And he's I don't think he's married at this point. He is now married in real time. He's had his long-term girlfriend since, oh my God, I don't know, like since they moved to Las Vegas almost. Her name is escaping me right now. But anyway, Aspen must be visiting him, or maybe they live near each other. That I'm not sure about. I thought he lived in Las Vegas and Aspen lives in Utah. So I'm not exactly sure if she's just visiting him or what, because Mitch isn't there. It's just Aspen. But anyway, they're going to be a little bit late. It is weird when Robyn and Kody pop up on the screen, but Kody said that he's excited and that, it's fun to see everybody. Christine is also worried that Gabe and Garrison won't even show up because Kody and Robyn are there. But I do see Gabe. Garrison does not appear on this Zoom call. I mean, I think we knew from like a couple episodes ago, Garrison's pretty much done. He really has no desire to see Kody and Robyn, Kody tells us that he's nervous though. And he goes, but I'm just going to go into this like, I'm there for Mykelti and Tony. This is just about Mykelti and Tony and babies. Yeah, there you go. Just ignore the other boxes like you do in real life. Sounds like a plan. For Robyn's part, she said, I'm hoping that seeing Kody and I and our smiles and encouragement will help. I'm sorry. I can't even get through this because what smile have you ever had on your face? Including this entire Zoom call, by the way. She goes, she's hoping that her smile and encouragement will show the others that I'm not the bad guy. Yes, I'm sure after this call, all the older children have a very different opinion of you. I should say, and this has been talked about a lot out in, social media world, there is a very obvious absence of Robyn's children. All of them, all 5 of them are conspicuously absent from this gender reveal. Now, I know it has nothing to do with Mykelti because Mykelti is very warm and affectionate toward Robyn and her children. So that's not the reason. Is it because Robyn is protecting them from the horrible, mean older children who are in their own little boxes on the screen? Is that too much? Is it too confrontational for her babies? I don't know. But, Maddie has little Evie there and Avalon is on, we can see. So, other people manage to have their kids even just pop in and out on screen as, in their little Zoom box. Not Robyn's kids. Not a single one of them. Really? Were they all busy? Yeah? Was Solomon working a double shift at the old Cracker Barrel there? I mean, really? They don't leave the house. So what were they doing? Well, I'll tell you one thing. They weren't too busy to record another confessional. Yeah, this is another Brianna and Aurora confessional. And in this one, Aurora would like to speak on behalf of her mother, Robyn, and all the efforts that Robyn has made. Yes, we know Robyn has worked tirelessly to keep this family together. She's fighting. She's the only one fighting every day by crying or, again, unclear how she's fighting because she hasn't spoken to Janelle in 6 months. So I don't know what she's fighting to hold together, but it's definitely not her sister wives or their children. In spite of what Aurora tells us now, my mom has been one of the biggest cheerleaders, if not the biggest, for a healthy communication between Dad and the other kids and Dad and the other wives. Oh God, okay. There's so much to unpack here, you guys. First of all, let me just say, not true. Not true. Not the biggest cheerleader or supporter of Dad and his other children, because Robyn was the one that put the kibosh on Meri inviting the others to her own house, to Meri's house, for Christmas Eve. Robyn thought that would be Wouldn't that be a little scary? Yeah, that would be really scary to invite his children to spend Christmas Eve with him. I can't imagine. Those are his kids. Scary is if he wanted to, invite an escaped convict over for Christmas. Sure, okay, I maybe keep the kids within eyesight then. But his own children? Come on. But the other part that needs to be mentioned is these two girls. Look at them. They're teenagers. Well, they're 17 and 20. They look so sad and defeated. And, maybe this is going too far, but they look like hostages. So, yeah, I said it, okay? They look like they are doing a hostage video. And they're reading a script, and Robyn and Kody are just off camera holding, rifles. And I won't go so far as to say that they're being drugged, but there is some serious Munchausen by proxy going on here. I don't know if that applies here exactly, but there's some sort of psychological abuse happening to these girls. I said before, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, I had said before, I can't wait for them to see this season play back, because once they see the scene where the other kids say how much they miss them, I hope that means something to them, and they might wake up. Maybe it'll be a little bit of a light bulb moment that their mom was wrong. They really aren't unwanted by the rest of the family. I was hoping for that, but now I'm afraid it's too far gone. I don't think Aurora will believe it. I think she's so brainwashed right now, both of them apparently, that they won't even believe what they're seeing, that their siblings really miss them. I don't know. I look at these two faces right here, and I think something's very wrong with these teenagers. Something's very wrong. And the fact that she feels like she's got to make this statement on behalf of her mom, is that something that she's doing of her own free will? I hope so, but also I just don't even know what her free will is anymore, because I think there's some psychological abuse happening. I really do. All right, so back to the Zoom call. Aspen and Logan's girlfriend are on now, and Gwendolyn has also joined. Mykelti bugs me sometimes. I don't know. It's like she's so self-important sometimes, she just loves that this is all about her. And she's like, okay, yeah, we're each going to hold one because, we're not cool enough to just have one baby. We're having two babies. Yeah, we know. It was announced 4 times. They're each holding the popper. Honestly, the way she announced her pregnancy, I'm surprised that Mykelti didn't already pop her thing already. There's no sort of, build up finesse. Every time she announced that she was having twins, she just blurted it out right away. And everyone had to go, wait, what? What did you just say? So anyway, everyone gets their guesses in, and pretty much everyone thinks one girl, one boy. And I'm going to show you this confessional here with Mykelti and Tony, because again, everyone has also been talking about this all over social media. Mykelti, this is a much more recent confessional. How do we know this? Because Mykelti and Tony have discovered healthy eating and or Ozempic. But in any case, they're much thinner here. They both have lost a significant amount of weight, and we know that is within the last few months. So she clearly was not pregnant with the twins when she was looking this thin. So TLC had decided to shove a pillow under her shirt. Is that what's happening here? A lot of people complain about how square it looks. Mykelti, I think I've mentioned this before, Tony and Mykelti, as well as Gwendolyn, but Tony and Mykelti have their own podcast where they do, I think they watch the show and they react to it maybe. In any case, Mykelti has already said, yes, that they were trying to recreate her being pregnant with a pillow and like saran wrap or something, but it still just ended up looking very square. And also nobody was fooled because of the weight difference in her and Tony. And it just seemed silly because not only would we all understand that the confessionals are filmed much later, that happens in The Housewives too. After the entire season is shot, then the ladies go back and do their confessionals, right? So nobody would have cared if she was, thin and not pregnant and talking about this scene. But the other thing that makes it even more ridiculous is this whole year, season 18, has been filmed out of chronological order. Did we really need to shove a pillow under Mykelti's shirt? It's just so dumb. All right, so it's time to shoot off those poppers. And as we know, it's blue powder in both of them. Everyone's, pretty happy about that. No, that's not really true. To be honest with you, it was very anticlimactic. Nobody cared, which is how it should be, of course. But it was just oh, great. It was two boys. Nice. In Kody's confessional, he said, that Zoom call was bittersweet, mostly sweet. But it started off in a state of paranoia over the contempt that has been thrown in my direction. Is Robyn like a wizard or something? A witch? She's actually got Kody talking like he was paranoid and terrified. Of what? To see his children in a little square on his computer screen? What? You're not even in the same room with them. You were paranoid and terrified. That's Robyn speak. The little hostage script that Robyn wrote for you is making you look like a drama queen. Maybe read it through first before you're on camera. Because nobody's throwing contempt in your direction. Nobody's throwing anything in your direction, to be quite honest. Nobody is poisoning the children against you. Nobody is really talking about you, period. That's your biggest problem right now, Kody. The kids have stopped trying. And that should be terrifying to you. In Janelle's confessional, she said, it was fine seeing Kody and Robyn as a couple in their own little square. Because they are a couple, and everybody knows it. And she goes, but here's the thing. Kody doesn't really have much contact with any of the people in the other boxes. Again, in Kody's confessional, he said, here's the thing. Tony and Mykelti love me and Robyn, and we know that. And that made it all okay. Yeah, and by love, he means loyalty, because that's his perception of love. They're loyal to Robyn, therefore, that's why he could be there today. He's rewarding the loyal daughter. He said, someday this civil war may end, that contempt that I'm making up in my head, that Robyn has written in my script here, that may end one day, and Robyn and I are going to be like this. You're not going to separate us. You want your dad but not Robyn? That's not going to work. Ugh. Nobody cares. That's the problem, Kody. The civil war may end, but the fallout is going to be that they don't even want their dad. And again, that's what should terrify you. You need to fix this. I'm not even sure it's not already too late. Okay, now we are in Parowan. Oh yeah, sorry, Meri. Not sure you knew about this, but Tony and Mykelti had a little gender reveal Zoom call. You weren't invited. They're having twin boys, if you're curious. We get these weird confessionals from the adults as to where they think Meri was during the Zoom call. Janelle just said, yeah, I don't know where Meri was. And Kody goes, I thought Mykelti and Meri were good. Did you? Because I'm pretty sure that's a lie. I've heard from so many sources now that the reason that Meri wasn't at second Christmas isn't because Robyn forgot to invite her. It's because Mykelti requested that she not be there. Mykelti, it's not just Mykelti, actually. Apparently, more than a few of the older children have accused Meri of being a tyrant and quite abusive as they were growing up, maybe physically, sort of corporal punishment kind of thing. I don't know. Because Maddie used to actually help Meri with her LuLaRoe business back when they were in Las Vegas. So it doesn't make sense that she would even go to work for her if it's someone that she hated. I do know they had like a horrible falling out and like Maddie doesn't want to talk to Meri at all anymore. But Mykelti and Meri, I guess I don't know for sure what the issue is there. Those of you who have watched the show from the beginning, if you want to leave that in the comments and let us all know. All I know is Mykelti did not want Meri there because the next confessional is from Christine, and she said, our older kids choose who they want to have a relationship with. And Mykelti is not comfortable with everyone in the family, and Meri will not be at any other events for Mykelti and her children. Yikes. I don't know. Anyway, now we're in Parowan and we see Meri, and she says that she's been traveling all weekend, and she's there now in Parowan working on the carriage house remodel. I'm a little tired of this story for Meri because Meri working on the carriage house remodel for her LuLaRoe business, that's all she talks about. That and, of course, her anniversary dinner with Kody. You were traveling all weekend? Well, film that. I'm curious. Where were you going all weekend? Let's see a little bit more of like your personal life. Have the cameras rolling then instead of just turning the cameras back on when we're back working on the carriage house. Maybe it's just me. Also, side note, we get this aerial view of the B&B of Lizzie's Heritage Inn, and I am so surprised that it's just like in a neighborhood kind of situation. Like it's a corner lot. There's a house behind her, a house next to her. I don't know. It just always, when they showed the front of it, the shot of the front of the inn, it always just looked like it was kind of in the middle of nowhere to me. Like nothing really around it nearby. Anyway, Meri is there checking the progress of the carriage house. And it looks worse than before. They took some parts of the wall down to the studs. I feel like she's checking on it too soon. Maybe she should have given it a couple more weeks before she checked progress. Anyway, she also feels the need to tell us all, yet again, for the third time, that on her 32nd anniversary, Kody told her that their marriage was never going to heal. Yeah, I think that's only one less time than we were told that Mykelti was having twins. Yeah, so this news about Kody being done comes as a surprise to Meri. Why? Like the fact that he barely spoke to her or saw her in person for the last 8 years wasn't some kind of a tip-off. Like, did she really think Kody was still working on their marriage? As I'm thinking about it, it's possible that she thought that was Kody's way of working on it, because Meri's way of working on it was to just sit by and do nothing, not leave, just wait patiently. That was how she was working hard at it. And we all know the way Robyn was fighting to keep the family together was by, dry crying. So none of their methods seem to be working, however, but they are toiling away at it. Oh my God. Okay, now we are actually flashing back to the second time she told us that Kody said their marriage was done. So I guess technically that makes it 4 times that we're being told that on their 32nd anniversary, Kody told her it was over. Anyway, the worst part about this whole thing is that Meri's takeaway from her husband telling her on their 32nd anniversary that he has no interest in healing their marriage, her takeaway from that is, this puts it on me now. Like she thinks the ball is in her court. Huh? No. There's no decisions to be made here. He took the ball and he went home to Robyn with it. Your court is empty. You don't have any decisions to make here. Kody made them for you by telling you it was over. I mean, unless you're deciding whether to accept reality or live in denial. But contrary to what Kody had said earlier in the season, I don't think he's even willing to live in denial with you anymore. Even that's too much Meri for him. Meri seems to be hung up on their marriage vows and how it's their covenant, it's eternal. Kody promised her eternity, and she's having a hard time accepting this. Okay, I mean, I guess I get it, sort of. But, you were also like teenagers. Can you really trust a teenager to say, I'll be with you for eternity? Not really. So I guess she's deciding whether she wants to be eternally bound to someone who doesn't want her anymore or not. In Meri's confessional, she goes, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to consider. Is there? Okay, next, Isabelle has to go back to North Carolina. So again, was she there for the Zoom and we're just going back in time, or was she somewhere in Utah? I don't know. It doesn't really matter, I guess. But Christine is really going to miss her. She loved having her home for the summer. So they are having a surf and turf meal to celebrate her going back to school or to work. I don't know. She's going back to North Carolina, where Maddie lives. Mitch is in the kitchen making the lobster, and they're having lobster and crab legs and steaks, I guess. And this is at Aspen and Mitch's house. McKelty and Tony and Avalon are there, of course, and Truly. So over dinner, they are now talking about Isabelle maybe moving back to Utah because she has more family there. And like I said before, in Christine's confessional, she would love to have her back home. To the best of my recollection, I believe she has moved back home in real time now. Yeah, I don't know if she's finishing school in Utah or if she, just stopped going to school and she's working now. That I don't know. So Tony asks Christine about her dating life again. And if you ask me, Tony is too concerned with Christine's dating life, right? He's a bit of an oversharer with his mother-in-law. Last week I didn't mention this because, but they were talking about how they got pregnant with twins and that usually people have to, do all this crazy stuff to get twins. But all they did was have sex. And Christine's like, okay, yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. First of all, your mother-in-law doesn't want to think about you having sex with her daughter. And secondly, she might not want to think about you having sex at all, Tony. Most of us don't. No offense. Anyway, he does have what is like bordering on an unhealthy obsession with Christine's love life. He asks her how it's going, and he suggests that she not use her real name on like dating websites. He said, use a nickname like Tina. So weird. Christine is like, why are we even talking about this? This is a goodbye party for Isabelle. Why are we talking about my love life? This is making me uncomfortable. I think, to be fair, I think the concern is that Christine is a public figure. And so if she's just out there on a dating site, she might get some weirdos. I mean, you might get some weirdos anyway, but being a public figure, it might attract, people that aren't there for the right reasons, kind of a thing. Now I just sounded like I was on The Bachelor. I don't think you should give Chelsea a rose because she's not here for the right reasons. Anyway, they're kind of having fun teasing her. Mitch thinks she should be on a farmers only site. And Christine tells them that she's not interested in casual hookups. And she married Kody without ever having ever kissed a guy, including Kody. Yeah, she didn't kiss him until after they were married. And in fact, that became a real sore spot when Robyn joined the family and he was courting Robyn and she found out that they made out first. Oh, yeah. Christine was not happy about that. But anyway, her saying that she doesn't want to casually date. Yeah, I mean, I think we know that because I feel like David Woolley was the first guy she started dating. And I wish them all the best, but in real time here, they just got married. She's just so thrilled and happy that I hope this lasts forever for her. I hope she just lucked out and the first guy she dated was the one and they're meant for each other and that they are each other's soulmates. I hope he is the Robyn to her Kody. It ends with Christine saying that she's not in any hurry. And they're like, yeah, of course, date around a little bit. Don't just end up with the first David Woolley that you see. All right, now we have Janelle's confessional. Kody and Robyn are kind of just wrapped up in raising their kids. Yeah, that's right. Little Dayton is what? He's just in his early 40s now? And she said, and Meri is spending more time at the B&B. How would you know, Janelle? You never speak to her. Anyway, and her kids are great. So I have this opportunity to go on a road trip with Christine, so I'm going to do it. Yeah, we see her waiting. She's all sassy with her shades on, and she's waiting for Christine to come pick her up somewhere. It looks like an airport, but they're going on a road trip, so I don't know where she is. Anyway, Christine pulls up, Janelle hops in, and this is when we learn that they have been invited to go to Christine's brother's house and drive some ATVs, which Janelle has never done before, so she's going to go. So you, Kody, and the Christmas dirt bike you rode in on. You're not the only one that can ride an ATV. Also, sorry again, Savannah. Still nothing for you. You need to stay home and get yourself to school. Because you're great. You're doing fine. You don't need Janelle. Mama's going ATV riding. So in the car, Christine said, I've been wanting to ask you about something that Robyn said. About if I was still a part of the church, I'd have to get like approval and stuff to leave the family. And Janelle goes, which is true. And Christine goes, yeah, but so we all know that I'm not still part of the church, right? But am I the only adult in the family that's not still part of the church? And Janelle said, well, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been to church with anybody in a long, long time. So Janelle tells us in her confessional that in their faith, their spiritual marriages mean more to them than their legal marriages. In other words, when they spiritually marry each other, that holds much more importance in their faith. And because of that, they aren't something that you can just easily walk away from. Christine said that Robyn seemed to be implying that her walking away from Kody invalidated all of their marriages somehow. So she asks Janelle, do you feel like I invalidated your marriage to Kody? And Janelle said, no. I mean, I don't know if I am still married to Kody. I haven't seen him at my house in over 10 months. Okay, TLC, are we jumping time again? This is so weird and confusing. Kody was just at your apartment last week, checking it out. So we know he was there pretty recently. But again, like, who knows when this road trip is? Maybe it's taking place 10 months after he came to see her apartment. Maybe it's 10 months before. Maybe McKelty is just about to blurt out that she's having twins. Time means nothing on this show. We are along for a ride. This is like The Matrix or... oh God, what was that? Going back and forth, Memento? Yeah, this is like that. We are all along for a wild ride, so you need to just go with it. I mean, maybe take some mushrooms before the next recap and just close your eyes and enjoy my storytelling because it's going to take you all over the place. For all I know, at this point, Meri thinks that Kody's still working on their marriage. That's very possible, actually. Anyway, Christine goes, oh, wow. Yeah, it doesn't sound like you're married. Now we cut to Kody driving his sweet, sweet convertible. And he tells us that his life has changed quite a bit because he doesn't feel like a polygamist anymore. He also confirms, by the way, that it has been 10 months since he's seen Janelle. And you guys... I'm going to tell you right now, if it has been 10 months since he's seen Savannah, I'm going to be so pissed right now. Because that's kind of what it sounds like, right? Because obviously he would see Janelle if he was coming by to pick up Savannah. Anyway, his life feels very different. He doesn't feel like a polygamist. It's been 10 months since he's seen Janelle. And Meri, I don't even know what's going on with Meri's life. Yeah. She's deciding whether or not she is going to still work on your marriage. That's what's going on with Meri. Happy anniversary, Meri. he goes on to say, now I have all this time to have a special life with Robyn. Yes, and it also allows him time to spend with his dear friend Brian, who is in town for business, Kody tells us. He remembers fondly that he officiated Brian and Judith's wedding, and he said it was a special experience. Yeah, it really was. All I remember was it was at the height of COVID, and Kody was out in the middle of the dance floor cutting a rug with some of the female relatives, not a mask in sight, while back home he was refusing to visit his sons because they had jobs and wanted to see their girlfriends. Yeah, I'll never forget that wedding. What the? Okay. Oh, God, he's so weird. So the business that Brian is in town for is to buy 3 cars off of Kody. Yeah, Brian owns a little car dealership in Oklahoma, and he is driven there to purchase these 3 vehicles from Kody. A pickup, this little convertible sports car, and another little car that he used just to drive the kids around town. And by kids, we mean Robyn's kids. We've established that, right? Okay. Nobody's confused that he's driving any of his other children anywhere, right? Savannah, get yourself to school. Walk to the bus. You're fine. Yeah, so he's selling off 3 of his cars. Question, how many cars did you have? And question number 2, do you still need a barn dominium? Probably not. Sounds like you're selling off some of your belongings. I'm guessing he ran the numbers with Robyn. And, without Meri, Christine, and Janelle, we're going to have to sell off a few cars. They could sell a few of those ugly yet very expensive paintings on every square millimeter of wall space in their home. Maybe sell one of the dirt bikes. Or perhaps a chunky horse ring that you've recently acquired. But I'm guessing Robyn said no to selling those things. Sure, you can sell your car that you've driven your other wives around in. Go ahead, do that. But nothing in our home. Listen, it can't be considered Cracker Barrel chic if we don't have tchotchkes on every horizontal surface. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure there needs to be a painted inspirational quote plaque at least every 7 feet, or you lose your status as an official Cracker Barrel. If you search for Cracker Barrels on your GPS, Robyn's address will come up if you're in the area. So that is good in a pinch. You're on the road, you're hungry. If you're anywhere near Robyn's, stop by. Have some soup, play the peg game. So Brian tells the camera, I told Kody, you got kids, you got wives, you got houses that you're building. You do not need to be rebuilding this car. Okay, so he's referring to one of the cars that he sold him. And I have to say, Brian, most of those things are not true anymore. So my question to you is, do you not get TLC in Oklahoma? Do you not watch the show? He's down to 1 wife, only 5 kids, and he's not building anything. All right, so Kody has this trailer that is supposed to hold the sports car. He's going to drive the sports car into the trailer, and then the pickup truck is going to pull the sports car. And I don't know about the other vehicle. That was never really made clear to me. Unless Kody was going to drive that. I don't know. But the issue seems to be that Kody did not measure first. In his confessional, Kody tells us that when you're going through a hard time, the respect and love of other men, it helps you endure that hard time. I don't want to ask. I'll just say it sounds like he and Brian are close. Yeah, he even wants to be respected by his men friends. All right, so we get a little goodbye montage to the little white sports car, which nobody will say what the brand is, but I think it's a Lexus. He's had it for 20 years. Meri says it was his baby. Janelle remembers how excited he was when he got it because it had a back seat. Not much of a back seat, she says. And then we do see a picture of it, and yeah, that back seat would hold only the thinnest of children. Christine remembers that Isabelle was one of the last kids to drive that sports car. And Kody remembers that he and Robyn fell in love in that car. Oh, what a sweet memory for your other wives. Robyn says that I got my answer from God about Kody in that sports car. There was a lot of fun stuff that happened in that sports car. Ew. And also, yeah, we've heard. You fell in love in that car. Kody admitted to the world that he was a polygamist while driving that car. And we do get a flashback to that. Season 1, episode 1, he's in that sports car driving. And he says, I like marriage. And I'm a repeat offender. You know, why did that not tip me off right away? Where this was all heading. That's so cringy right now. And you know, he thought he was so funny. I probably just cringed and then moved on from it because I was so intrigued by the show and the whole polygamy thing. And I'm going to go off on a short tangent here and just say, just to clarify, it isn't that I'm fascinated by polygamy. You know what I mean? If this was a Warren Jeffs kind of, we're marrying off the 11-year-old to a 60-year-old man kind of thing. No. I've seen enough. I know enough. I'm not going to watch a reality show about them because that would be sickening to me. It was that they were polygamous, but they were so different. They appeared so different. They truly appeared like these women who were all age appropriate for Kody, by the way, that they were also seemingly independent and they spoke up for themselves. It just felt like much more of a democracy. And I was really curious about how that worked, how they weren't jealous, and how, these women were willing to share a husband. Why? How did that work? That kind of thing. That's why. Polygamy in general, horrible situation for women. Okay, now it is time to drive that little white sports car up the ramp and into the back of the trailer. And it is tight. There is an inch or two on either side as Kody's driving it in and Brian is directing him. Okay, you have a little bit here. And he's just inching up. And Kody thinks this is fun and funny. And in fact, it's so unsettling right now to see him smiling like this when his life is in such shambles, He's made some of these women just miserable. And he's desperately hurt some of his children. It's jarring to see him so giddy and happy and this smile on his face. Plus, and I know this is dating me, but I don't care, he looks exactly like Burl Ives. That is the actor or singer, whatever. He was that snowman narrator for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the classic cartoon. That's Burl Ives that voices that. Anyway, they could be twins. Anyway, they measured the car side to side, I guess, but Kody did not measure the length of the car and the length of the trailer. Well, I guess he knew the length of the trailer, but he did not measure the length of the car. And it looks like that trailer is just about 2 inches too short. Yeah. Brian can't close the door. The only thing I will say is this whole scene reminds me of the past seasons when I just feel like Kody and the kids they were always doing something crazy like this. And Kody was like the Energizer bunny, always running around, doing a million things at once and trying to build something and trying to do like a crazy person. And there was a little element of that in this scene to me, this sort of funny, and now the car won't fit. It just kind of reminded me of the old days a little bit, because for those of you who are brand new to Sister Wives, this current season, if this is the first that you're watching, it's very different than the show used to be leading up to the first 17 seasons, or at least 16 seasons anyway. So anyway, we get another confessional of Kody's, and he said, I spent most of my life as a polygamist, constantly trying to fit square pegs into round holes. Ew, square peg isn't what he calls his penis, is it? I know pencil is the word he uses for his son's penises because he told us all on the one-on-one last season that Gabe and Garrison just want to get their pencils wet at the risk of killing their tender age brother and sister. Anyway, so back in the car with Janelle and Christine, they are trying to determine whether or not Janelle is still married. Kody says that Janelle's making it difficult for me to feel like I'm still married to her. She just keeps saying, I just don't think we can reconcile. Yeah, well, now you know how Meri feels, because you've basically been doing the same thing to her. Janelle now says that he did come over to see the new place, though. So is she not counting that in the 10 months? That's weird. And also it's weird that Kody also said, I haven't seen her in 10 months. Janelle also says that he hasn't seen Savannah in a month. All right, well, at least it's not 10 months, but a month, that's not good enough. Not good enough, Dad. Maybe he'll visit her while Janelle is out of town on her ATV vacation with Christine. Janelle also tells Christine that she loves her life without Kody in it. She loves going to bed alone with her books, reading her books for as long as she wants before she turns the light out, turning the light off whenever she wants to turn it off. She gets to have the dogs in the bed with her, which Kody would not allow. She says she has absolutely no interest in dating or finding a man at all right now. She also doesn't want to break her covenant without knowing if God is completely cool with it. Although she doesn't know how she's ever going to know if God is cool with it. But she's waiting. She's waiting for a sign, I guess. Okay, now for this next part, I'm going to give you a little backstory that I learned from watching YouTuber Katie Joy Without a Crystal Ball. That's her channel. It's not necessarily recapping the episodes, although she does talk a lot about different parts of the episodes. But what I like about her channel is she's very well informed about polygamy and AUB, which is the faction of Mormonism that polygamists and Kody's, the Brown family, follow. It's kind of that offshoot of the LDS church. I will leave a card up here to the video that I'm referring to where I learned all of this information if I can. So let me back up. In Janelle's confessional, she tells us that she was friends with Meri's family from even before Meri met Kody. And she said, Meri wanted me to come and meet her new boyfriend. So I was there when he walked into the room, and it was like, I remembered. It was like seeing someone that you hadn't seen in a long time. I had that feeling of, oh, I remember you, when he walked into the room. Okay, that all sounds great, except here's what I learned from Without a Crystal Ball. Janelle was married to Meri's brother. Now, I don't know if they were still married at the time she met Kody. I think they weren't. I don't think they were still married. However, when Janelle says, I knew Meri's family before she met Kody, yeah, of course you did. You were her sister-in-law. Like, I feel like it's kind of a shocking thing to leave out as to the reason that she knew. And then also, I will say this. If she... and I don't know this to be true, but if Janelle left Meri's brother to marry Kody, Meri's husband, I can kind of see why Meri's got a little bit of a hang up with Janelle. Right? You left my brother to marry my husband. Like, you know. Again, I don't know the timeline of that. They may have already been divorced, but weird enough, even if they were divorced. Look, I don't understand polygamy. On no level do I understand a woman who wants to share her husband. So it may not be as weird as I think. I don't think that she wanted Janelle to meet Kody to be a sister wife. However, we know that Meri is the one that pushed Kody to meet Robyn and to start courting Robyn. That was Meri's doing. It's possible that Meri isn't as freaked out as I would be if my sister-in-law met the guy I was dating and then she also wanted to marry him, you know? Anyway, so now in Janelle's confessional, she said that she and Kody, like that Kody always used to joke with her, hey, you should join our family. We jump over to Kody in his confessional, and he said, "Oh, there's no doubt I flirted with Janelle. I just remember talking to her a lot. Was that flirting? We were both smiling at each other. It must have been." Back to Janelle's confessional, she said, "So as I studied the faith more and I read about it more, I asked Kody, I said, I think I'm supposed to be in your family. And he said, okay, let's pray about it." Sorry, Meri. I don't think Meri was in on the praying part. We check in with Christine, who also said that she knew she was supposed to marry Kody and divorce him. She also got a strong sign that she was supposed to divorce him too. There were no questions for her. I mean, honestly, it would be nice if that was how it was for everybody, right? So clear cut. Meri needs a very clear sign. Meri's still trying to figure things out. Should I be eternally bonded to somebody who doesn't want anything to do with me, or set myself free? Find a man who actually doesn't hate the sight of me. Yeah, it's a lot to think about. Janelle says that she doesn't think marrying Kody was a mistake, but she just thinks that there was an expiration date on their relationship. So in the car with Thelma and Louise, Christine confirms that Janelle does still feel like she should be in a plural marriage. And Janelle said, well, listen, I'm open to it. I'm not saying I have to be in a plural marriage again, but I'm open to it. I'm not pursuing anything. Yeah, we know. Reading in bed with the dogs is awesome. But she definitely knows that the door has closed for her and Kody. She's done. Now Christine and Janelle talk about all of the family traditions that stopped when Robyn joined the family. Yeah, there was the 4 days of feasting at Thanksgiving. Christine called that magical. I hear you, girl. 4 days of feasting? Sign me up. Anyway, that stopped when Robyn joined the family. Friday night dinners stopped. She said Saturdays, we always did something together on Saturday. That ended. And Janelle said, yeah, I mean, Robyn was like a separate entity from the three of us, and Kody spent a lot of time with her. In Kody's confessional, his memory is a little bit different. Robyn supported all of our family traditions. She even enhanced them. Yeah, how? By excluding the other wives? That would have been an enhancement for Kody, I guess. Christine and Janelle talk about how Robyn is Kody's soulmate, and that as a polygamist husband, you're supposed to be able to grow beyond your love for one wife so that you can, find that equal love for all of them. But Kody either didn't or couldn't do that. In Christine's confessional, she talks about how Janelle chose to support her when she left the family and how much that means to her. The fact that Janelle chose to still do things with Christine and raise their kids together. She's just so grateful for that. And in the car, Janelle tells Christine that more than Kody or anybody else, she would be devastated to lose Christine and her children. She said, I don't miss Kody. I don't even miss Robyn. And I haven't even spoken to Meri in over a year. According to Christine, she and Janelle and their collective children are the only part of their plural family that survived. Kody and Robyn live a monogamous life with their children, and Meri's not part of that equation. Okay, so now we have arrived in Burley, Idaho, which is where Christine's brothers live, Levi and Steve. This is very confusing. It was confusing when she said it. I'm going to try to explain it to you, but also just know that you're going to be confused because it's hard. Steve is Christine's younger brother from her mom. So Steve is her full sibling. Same mother, same father. So when their mother left their father, Steve moved in with their dad and their other mom. So Christine and Steve's mother was a sister wife, and she left her husband the way Christine left her husband. And I guess she went to live with her mom. I don't know how old Christine was when her mom left her dad, but Steve, her little brother, went to live with her dad and the other mom. And Levi is the son of that other mom. So yes, Levi is her brother from another mother, so to speak. I guess technically a half-brother, but also, the polygamous families don't consider each other half-siblings, so brother. Okay, so for never having been on an ATV, Janelle is doing great. Christine's like, she's leaving me in her dust. Although, to be honest with you, they both look like they're just kind of putting along, but it's fine. I will say that Janelle is having so much fun. She even tells us in her confessional that she didn't know what it was going to be like, but she had a blast. Sorry, Savannah. Don't forget to do your homework, feed the dogs, do the dishes in your deep sink. Maybe Dad will visit you. All right, so after the fun ATV rides, they go into Levi's house. Levi's wife is there and his little boy, he's got a toddler, and they just sit down to chat. And the conversation is about plural families. Christine said that she loved growing up in that and she always wanted to be a sister wife. And she can remember from the time she was 17, she wanted to be the third wife. And we know all that from the opening of the show. When the show first started, they had their sort of taglines. And Christine's was always, I didn't just want the man, I wanted the family. She's reiterating that, but her brother Steve recalls things quite differently. He remembers fighting, shouting, a lot of tension in the house. Christine's mom and his mom was a basement wife. She was in the downstairs, the other wife was in the upstairs, and it was not a happy childhood for Steve. Janelle and Christine also reminisce about when their family first started, when it was just the four of them with Kody and Meri. They lived in a mobile home that was just, it had 3 bedrooms, but I guess just tissue paper thin walls. And that became quite an issue. Which again, like, part of me goes, well, yeah, of course. You don't want to hear your husband being intimate with another woman. But then I have to remember, you chose this life. There's some part of you, that your faith believes that this is how you're meant to live. And if that's the case, I would think, shouldn't you not be bothered by that then? Because of course you know he's going to be intimate with the other wives. Christine and Janelle both have 6 children. Meri would have had more if she could, but I don't know. It's weird. I guess human nature is you don't want it in your face that much that your husband is being intimate with other women. It's a weird dichotomy. It's just a weird thing. So Janelle is getting a bit uncomfortable with the conversation because Levi and Steve and Levi's wife are very, very anti-polygamy. Steve feels like it's incredibly destructive to a family. I can't say I disagree. And I guess now with Christine being like, yeah, it was definitely not for me after all. Janelle, who still thinks that might be her future. Another plural family, like she's definitely still feels that calling for that. She's getting a little bit uncomfortable, worrying that maybe they're going to pressure her or something. They do not. In fact, I really like Christine's brothers a lot. And Steve in particular, I think was very articulate with the way he was describing how dangerous and destructive it is for particularly women and children. He likes that it's illegal because there needs to be some protection for these young girls. And Janelle says that what they really should do is make it legal for them to marry every one of their wives so that if things go south and it doesn't work out and the wife needs to leave that family, she has some legal right to some of his assets. In her confessional, she said, yeah, so in theory, a man can just ghost one of his wives, stop coming over, stop contributing money to her household. Sorry, Meri. This is why Janelle feels like the wives should have some financial claim to him if they should ever get divorced. Child support, alimony, etc. I know she's saying this because of her own situation. She feels very stuck. She didn't have a house the way Christine did. So she's like, oh, my assets are tied up in this stupid property at Coyote Pass. I know she's very, very worried and concerned about it. I wish she would talk to a legal expert because so many people have been saying, you don't have to be married to somebody to collect child support from them. Maybe she won't get spousal support, but now that I'm saying that, Savannah is probably on the cusp of turning 18 anyway, so maybe that doesn't work for her. I don't know. Anyway, in Christine's confessional, she goes, do you know what Janelle is saying here? If Janelle, Meri, and I were legally married to Kody, we'd get a 50-50 split of everything he owns. Of everything. Yeah, well, Christine would. Christine would get a 50-50 split, but then when it came time for Janelle, she only gets 50% of what's left, right? And then, you know, even worse for Meri if she's the third one to do it. So it's a much better deal for the first wife that leaves. Anyway, it's weird that Janelle's like being this open to Christine's brothers that I think she's just meeting for the first time. Anyway, she's telling everyone that she's having a hard time getting her estate separated because right now everything that she owns is all mishmashed together with Kody and Robyn and Meri, I guess. Janelle needs to go to Congress and like pass a bill for sister wives' rights. In Kody's confessional, he said that his goal was for each wife to have her own assets. Janelle and Meri and Robyn and I, we each own 25% of Coyote Pass. Okay, I saw a little preview for next week. This will come into play next week. But also, I thought I read somewhere, this may have also been without a crystal ball. I'm really pushing her today. I believe that Kody's name is also on the property with that particular wife. In other words, if it was divided up, Christine's portion is owned by Christine and Kody. Robyn's portion is owned by Robyn and Kody. Meri's portion, Meri and Kody. Because at the time they bought Coyote Pass, you know, theoretically they were still happily married. Also, I kind of remember Kody got his own parcel. So I'm confused about that. I don't know. Nothing's been built there, and I don't even know if everything has been like partitioned off like legally yet, or if it's just one big, I think it's like 14 acres. So I don't know. But if they were to split that up between Meri, Janelle, Kody, and Robyn, and everybody got 1/4 of 14 acres, you know, that's 3.5 acres each. I guess 7 for he and Robyn as long as they stay together. It isn't like all 14 of the acres are created equally. Like one of them has a pond on it and one of them like has some trees and there might be an area you can't build on, stuff like that. So I think it's complicated the way it needs to be divided. But in any case, Kody has said right here and right now that he, Janelle, Meri, and Robyn each own 25% of Coyote Pass. So those words may or may not come back to haunt him. But Janelle is worried. She's worried about the finances. She said Christine was able to sell her house and leave. And that was part of the condition. I probably said this before. When she left the family and sold her house, she wanted to keep the earnings from her house, whatever equity she had in it. She wanted to keep that money in exchange for giving up her rights to any part of Coyote Pass. And, you know, Kody agreed to that. I don't know if the other wives were even had a say in whether they were okay with it or not. They should have been. But again, I don't know that this is a democracy here. So that's how Christine got out. Janelle is worried because she doesn't own property other than Coyote Pass. She doesn't know if she's even gonna get that. She doesn't know what she's gonna do. However, in Meri's confessional, she said Janelle's name is on 2 of those parcels at Coyote Pass. Mine is on 1, and neither of us own it outright. She still believes that it will be divided fairly between the 4 adults. So, we shall see. That is the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you liked this recap. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please consider doing so. If you click on the bell icon, you'll be notified every time I post something new here on my channel. I'm also an Amazon affiliate, so if you happen to be an Amazon shopper and go through one of my links to bring you to Amazon, you can purchase whatever you want within that session, and I will get a small percentage of any of your qualifying purchases. So thank you in advance for that. That is it for me. I will see you guys next week with the next episode of Sister Wives. Bye.